Welcome to Shelf Indulgence, the perfect place for book lovers who can't resist adding just one more book to their overflowing bookshelves. Join us as we dive into unforgettable stories, underrated reads, and all the bookish indulgences your heart desires. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's talk books. Hi everyone, I am Asya and here with me, Allen.
Hi everyone.
Today we're having kind of unusual episode. I'm sure everyone felt this way before and we are not exceptions in that. If you've ever closed a book and felt like the world around you suddenly lost two shades of color, you've had a book hangover. Today we'll talk about the diagnosis, the causes, and the best remedies.
And yes, at the end, we are going to rate our own cases because, we've also had issues of a book hangover and using our completely scientific scale.
Or not really
Not
scientific,
really.
but yeah,
Yeah, so
we're gonna bring up a scale on book hangovers.
so we are going to start with the definition of a book hangover, right? So let's just start with a very simple one. The emotional aftertaste, after you finish a powerful book, that emptiness that you feel, feels like cloudy day, feels like you have difficulty starting something new, where you keep comparing everything you might want to read to what you just finished reading. So that feeling, that's just simply what book hangover, that's simply what it means, right? That's a simple definition. Um, Asia, can you, I don't know,
Okay.
clarify between book hangover?
There is
Uh,
another event or the feeling you may get after finishing the book. It's called reading fatigue or reading swamp. But we shouldn't be confusing those two emotions or feelings because book swamp is mostly about feeling drained of reading or just feeling drained, feeling exhausted, and not being successful in trying to start in your book, but it may happen to you anytime. Like it doesn't matter if you just finish a powerful book you really liked or you just came across it just like all of a sudden in the process of reading. So it's not the same thing as book hangover because book hangover usually happens to us when we just finished a book we really liked reading, we really enjoyed reading. Okay, let's just move on and share some maybe personal stories, right? And then we will cover more on symptoms. So, Alan, what about you?
yeah,
Can you mention some books or book series after reading you felt this kind of thing?
yeah, I definitely have some experiences of it. Um, the most recent one that happened to me was when I read the Almost Man by Robert Galbraith, which is crazy because I think the book was released last month, right? And I remember having the same feeling when the book seven was released and after I read it.
Okay, Hallmarked Man by Robert Galbraith, or
Yeah,
is known as J.K. Rowling, right?
J.K. Rowling. Yeah,
Okay, something
yeah.
else.
Okay, and then again by J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter. Harry Potter. So I felt it for those two books. And what about you?
Harry Potter is basically series as well, right?
Yes, the whole series because I read I
Mhm.
read everything once. What
Okay.
about you?
About what about me? It's mostly kind of sci-fi or fantasy stuff. I
Okay.
would like to mention about Bartimeus series by Jonathan Stroud. It's a British fantasy. And Motherbot series by Martha Wells. It's more like sci-fi fiction, quite captivating, quite engaging, with super funny main character. And so yeah, it felt kind of uncomfortable to leave this world and to break up with this character for a long time because I think the series is complete now, right? And we've got even a movie adaptation, but
Yeah.
oh, it's not the same. It's not the same. Okay, we're not talking about it now. I think we should maybe talk about movie adaptation sometime later. Let's switch to the symptoms, right? You started talking about it, so maybe you can mention something else, right? Right? How it actually feels having book
Okay.
hangover.
So we are going to be itemizing the symptoms of book hangover because we are here to help you. Okay, we're in this together. So the first thing is procrastinating instead of starting a new book, right? You just procrastinate, you don't want to start anything. It's like the last book left a void, you know, and that there is no book that can fill that void, that last book left. So first thing is procrastinating. Then the second thing is you keep replaying scenes and specific portions of the book in your head at all times. When you're about to sleep, a particular scene just pops up. When you are doing your laundry, particular scene pops up. When you are, I don't know, in the kitchen, instead of watching your food cooking, you just start gazing in the sky, in the air, and your food burns, that kind of thing, right? So that's the second one. Then the third symptom is you start searching fan art and fan fiction, right? You go, Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, social media, and start searching for community, searching for fan art, fan fiction to, of course, fill the void. And the last thing is the desperate need to discuss that one scene with someone immediately. As if your life depends on it. You eat up that friend at 4 a.m. in the morning when you're supposed to be sleeping, and you start messaging, trying to, discuss that scene, right? So those are the four symptoms, right? And if you have any symptom, you can just add it to the comment as you're listening. So procrastinating, replaying scenes over and over in your head, searching for fan art, and the need to discuss with someone. All right. So, Asia, can you just give us your experience with these symptoms?
I think that I definitely experienced the first one. It's like procrastinating instead of starting a new book.
Mm,
And this is, I would say, this is kind of harsh period of life because procrastinating includes kind of searching for something else. Like you may start one book, abandon it, then start another, because you feel like you can't really be engaged the way it was before with a new book. And yeah, it definitely feels like a void inside because you don't have anything to fill this void, anything to that makes you feel the way you felt, which is by definition it's not possible because the only thing you can do it is just starting all over again, starting reading the book you just finished all over again, right? I think that I felt stuff like discussing the scene, not one thing, but the book itself, maybe, or sharing with someone that wow, I finished this kind of book. Like I so liked it. I like it this way because of that reason or this reason. And you have to read it immediately. Like start reading. Like I need to have someone to discuss it. So please start it. But I never felt like searching for fan art or fan fiction. But I know that my friends do it, maybe not in terms of prolonging the experience of they had with this particular book, but if they feel like visualizing the word and someone already did it, so it may be interesting to look at it, look at those artworks or illustrations or whatever. And I think it may also help and will be maybe considered as book hangover because you're just prolonging this period of time. Okay, what about you, Alan? Maybe you can even mention some books. Uh,
Okay. Yeah, so same as yours. I have definitely experienced procrastinating. When I read Harry Potter, and when I finished it, I just wanted to lay on my bed, my arms wide, and just look up at my ceiling. I That's just what I wanted to do the whole day. Like, what the heck? Are you kidding me? I just I couldn't think, and I'm going to work. I feel like there's a dark cloud on my head, following me everywhere. I just couldn't, get over it. I couldn't even think of reading any other book. You mentioned you might pick one up, put it down. I couldn't even pick. I couldn't even think of anything else for some days. So yes, procrastinating, replaying scenes. Yes, that one. I think it goes hand in hand with procrastinating. It's like you can't just let go. So yeah, I experienced that. I also for fan fiction, not as intensely as the other two symptoms, right? I know that I there are books that I just I think in my head, imagining how a particular person would look like, particular character would look like, and stuff like that. And then I go online and I see fellow fans that have reproduced something. And yeah, I've done that. And in fact, I've done all four. I've experienced all four symptoms. To you, you are probably the victim of of the effect of the fourth one, just message you up and, hey, remember this scene? Remember this scene? You're probably already tired of me, but what can I do? Okay, so yeah, I have experienced all four. I experienced it with the Strike series. I experienced it with Harry Potter. I experienced it with The Tainted Cup by Robert Bennett Jackson, right? I experienced it with him, especially the fan fiction part, the first book. I searched for fan fiction to just, right, see some sense, right? So yeah, I've experienced all four. It's not an easy thing to deal with at all. Okay, so let's move on to the next one.
okay, let's just look at some scientific explanations that stands
Yes, that we
behind.
promised, right? I think we
Yes,
promised some
yes,
science.
yes,
Yes.
yeah. Let's dive into some science stuff because
Okay.
obviously everything that has to do to this kind of psychological stuff, yeah, it's being studied, and
Yeah.
so we have some science part behind it. So the first one is basically narrative transportation. While we are reading, and all our attention, emotions, imaginations are fully absorbed by the story. And once the book ends, the contrast of returning to reality feels sharp. So, this kind of deep immersion we had, and the stronger it feels, the stronger the crash feels as well. And we were like forming a relationship between the book, and as every relation feels, it's kind of harsh to break up. So this basically what gives us this strong feeling once we finished the book. And next one is more about
Okay.
characters, Alan, right?
Yeah, so the second one is a parasocial bond with the characters is basically, having a relationship with a particular character in the book, like finding some kind of connection or bond with a particular character. And, when you finally have to stop the bond with the character because the book ends, it feels like you've lost maybe a soulmate or a part of yourself. And I believe everyone, every book lover has felt this way at one time or the other. It's difficult not to. It's difficult not to. So finishing the book can resemble a breakup, a deep loss, and you even begin to wonder like this person is a fictional character, not real. Why am I feeling this way? But you have already been soaked in. You can't. You're already tied in, so you can't escape it. Right. So that's the second scientific reason about bond with the character. Can you give us the third one?
Okay, the third one is kind of linked to the previous one, basically mooring fictional characters.
Morning.
And
Morning.
there is a strong parallels between grief processes, which is kind of, it might seem quite unreal and kind of harsh because like why you will be mooring, right? Since all the characters you've been introduced are just fictional, like they don't exist even. But the thing is that our emotions are kind of still real for us. So it may feel this way, even though it's seems to be ridiculous. It's not ridiculous. Like you're fine, you're okay. Just our process, our normal emotional process.
Okay, so the fourth one is flow state disruption, right? This is when the reading perfectly matches your skills and your attention. It creates a flow. It's like you and the book are in sync. There's a flow, and it's like I think a car accelerating and then suddenly having to stop when the book ends, when that flow suddenly stops and it leaves you in a state of like emptiness and like your reality has been distorted. So yeah, that is flow state disruption. You and the book being in a flow and then suddenly it stops and you start feeling empty.
And
Okay.
number five is so-called Zeigarnik effect. If you never heard this name, it doesn't matter because I'm sure everyone heard about unfinished business and
Mm.
how much is if it disturbs us if we have this thing, if you have unfinished business, and this definitely has to do to some cliffhangers we can often find at the end of the book, especially if it's a series. Like you'll definitely find a cliffhanger at the end of the first part, second part, and so on, so on. If the writer is cruel enough, uh, they would put the cliffhanger or kind of unfinished loose end at the end of the any book, even at the end of the series, So it's definitely will disturb you. It's built up this way to disturb you. So you'll be emotional attached, you'll be thinking and keep thinking about it. And Alan, I know you have
You,
a
you
good
know, you
example.
know, you know what this reminds me of. You know, ah, for guys, if you remember, we talked about a book in episode 2, my cousin Rachel, and just mentioning the name has brought back this unfinished business effects to me just right now. I'm feeling the effects right now. And I'm not sure this one ever leaves, because like you said, the writer just leaves you open-ended. And you can't forget. You can't forget this feeling ever. I felt it with my cousin Rachel. What happened to her? Did someone kill her? Was it him? Was it the one? Ah,
Was it
still feeling
she who was
right now.
poisoning those guys?
Yes, was she poisoning him? I don't get it. Oh,
I think some
guys,
people, sorry, some writers overuse this effect because, like, how dare you to leave this clean hunger at the end of the book if your next part
yes.
will come out like in years and you just leave people to suffer. This is crazy.
It's cruel. It's
Yeah,
cruel to
it's
be
cruel.
honest. Okay, so the next one is binge or serial consumption, right? And this happens when you binge a series, right? Finishing a long series or marathon. It can trigger post-series depression, and it is linked with heightened anxiety and depressive symptoms. And I know people feel this a lot with books and with also TV shows as well. TV shows that are like 10 seasons, 12 seasons. I don't really think they do those kind of shows anymore, but I digress. So I definitely have felt this with, again, Harry Potter, it's 7 books, right? For anyone that even the strike series as well, when I read the first 6, I also felt, that feeling. It's like, again, I think it has to do with flow as well. As you finish one, you're jumping into the other.
Yes.
Did you feel that with the Motherboard series? I think the Motherboard was had a lot of books in the series as well. So it's like you just jumping into one. You already know what to expect. You're already in love with this
Yes, yes.
character. You're
It
in love with
yeah,
the
and it
actor.
feels quite comforting since you already know what to expect.
Yes. Yes. So for that to just suddenly end, man, it's brutal. It's really brutal. Okay.
Okay, let's move on to the last scientific reason. This mostly about emotions. Why emotions about fiction feel real. And it's actually called paradox of fiction because rationally we know that characters aren't real. But the thing is that our emotions, our empathy, sympathy, everything we feel it still activates the same emotional systems. So basically, it means our emotions are real, even the events or characters aren't. What do you think? I think it just, to be honest, it's just the main thing of all of that because while we are reading, we are feeling same like emotions, and it's so normal that we feel it because we are really engaged, really um, enjoying the reading the book. We like characters. We building those bonds, like and even though the book and the characters aren't real, still we like live our life and
Yeah.
and it's all real for us.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a disclaimer, right, for you guys listening. Just wanted to know it's not strange that you feel this way, right? It's just your brain's natural reaction to being deeply immersed and attached to characters, and then also unfinished mental loops. Okay, so it's not strange if you feel this way, feel that way as well. And we just wanted to know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true. Okay, guys, in this part, we will introduce our book hangover scale. It has
Hmm.
5 levels from the mildest to the strongest, right? So for level 1, it is also known as Chamomile Sigh. You feel mild sadness and you have like 1 or 2 days of not ready to start anything, but it can be solved easily, right, with tea and a blanket. You
Okay.
have level 2. It's called Ghost of the Protagonist. And when you're at this stage, you can hear the character voice in your head, and you most likely scroll far out instead of doing your work. For level 3, also known as plot twist detox, you may narrate the ending to your cat and any friends. You should read this, gets an eye roll. For level 4, it feels like multiverse meltdown. Nothing feels right. The music, the weather, even the coffee.
Yeah.
Podcasts only about this book. And level 5, also known as full literary blackout. You cannot pick another book. You reply soundtracks, read fan fictions, Google lore, timelines, and it definitely requires intervention from your bookish friend and a losing ritual. Okay, Alan, what do you say? So you mentioned Strike series, right? You
Yeah.
mentioned what else? Harry Potter.
Harry
I
Potter series.
mentioned
Yeah.
Motherboard series and Bartimeo series. Please give us your level of hangover
Okay.
scale. What do you think?
Yeah. So for the Strike series, I think because they didn't end on such sad notes, I think I felt the most I felt was level 4, right? Level 4. For Harry
Okay.
Potter, yeah, I felt 5. I felt 5 after book 6. I felt level 5 after book 6. I felt level 4 after book 7. Gosh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, level
yeah.
4 or
I
level
I
5.
think I'm in line with like after reading Harry Potter book 7.
Yeah,
It's definitely was level 5 for me as well.
such sad times. Okay, what about your other books?
I think for it was level 5 for Bartimeus series for me, but I it's just basically 3 books in the series, like main books, but you have another book in it, so it can be 4, right? So
Yeah.
and the story is a bit different for the first book, and you're like, I think you can get a relief some kind. Plus, it's kind of helpful if the writer has another similar series, so you can just switch. So in this case, It's possible to switch to the Lockwood. It was possible to switch to the Lockwood series, even though I like it a bit less. But I'm switching to remedies, I guess. But
Yeah,
a bit. But so yeah, for me it was level 5, let's say. And for Motherboard series, I'll give it level 4, I guess.
I would say for the Barcelona series, I felt level five as well, because of the way the ending was. And I think what helped was because after reading the first three books, like you said, there was one more book. So it was like, okay, at least there is still something to read after that. But yeah, I felt level five after the third book. I definitely felt that. Okay, so we have some hangover remedies, right? That
Yeah,
just
so
help
yeah, we have
the
two types of remedies. So the first
yeah,
type, it's like quick fixes. It can
yeah,
help
yeah.
you to manage this state. But
Okay.
if you get in more serious state, we bring some deeper strategies. So let's
I'll
start
take the quick
possibly. And I
fix.
also maybe would suggest that we share if what helps you personally. Okay, so we can
Okay,
comment on it as well. So the
okay.
first one. So we are starting with quick fixes. So the
Yeah,
first one is Palette Cleanser, the short or light book, around 100 pages, essays or poetry. So what do you think? To be fair, to be honest, straight from the beginning, it never helps to me.
it doesn't
Never
like
helps.
this can't even help me at all. This let's move on.
I would say
Second one
I
is
possibly even tried it, but it goes to that part when you're searching for something to read and like short book, you just look at this short book and you're thinking like just 100 pages or let's say 200 pages, like how it's supposed to help. Like it won't help. Like I need something to dive into, not like this. But maybe it may help to someone, right? Okay,
yeah,
next.
it's good up. It's good up someone. Yeah. The second one is the closing ritual, right? So probably perform some kind of ritual to help you. So we wrote here that you could write down maybe your favorite scene, do some writing, write some quotes that you loved from the book or like a question that's, kept bothering you all through the book. You could write them all down and probably share with a friend, share on social media, just to help you process, once you read. So have you tried this?
To write down my favorite scene, I haven't tried this, but I think that like if you in case you got inspired with what you've just read and you have some nice quotes from it, so you can write it down, especially as if we both doing calligraphy, so it helps to
Hmm.
it may like you just prolong these moments with the book. You can write down the quote and do it in kind of creative way, so yeah, it may help, I think. Okay, next
Okay.
one is media switch. Engage with the soundtrack, movie adaptation, fan art for a softer landing. I'm aligned with that in terms of like movie adaptation. It really helps. I think even it doesn't matter if you like the movie or series or not. It's just prolongs your experience with this book. You may
Yeah.
argue about the movie, like how characters look, how the plot was rebuilt totally, and you can't recognize like what was
Mhm.
that, even though you have just read the book. It doesn't matter. It's just like keeps you living, keeps you in this world of the book.
Okay, so moving on to the next one, which is social anchor. Okay, moving on to social anchor, which is a 10-minute voice chat with a book friend to talk it out. Um, so I think this is as well is just a way to process what you've read. I reckon this just doesn't happen at the end of the book. Probably happens if you have a friend, to talk things out with. Probably at different stages of the book, you do this, right? And I definitely have done this. I've done this
You
a
definitely
lot.
have done, yes, a
Yes.
lot.
I've done this a lot, and it helps. It helps, all your worries or your concerns or just thoughts about the book. It's good to, have someone to talk it out with. Okay.
Again, the last of the quick fixes we have
Mm-hmm.
here is a thematic bridge. Just to pick the next book with similar vibe. Of course, it can't be the same. Like, there is no way it can be the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you can just slightly, if you feel like, you can slightly switch the genre, like switch
Mm-hmm.
from epic fantasy to magic realism, for example. If you feel like, if you don't feel like, you just continue with the same genre, just pick up something else. I think this is most common remedy.
Yeah.
If you like, for me, I think it can't be like this way. If you are, I tend to stand with the same genre. If you feel like continuing, or I need to switch to something else, like even not completely, but similar. Yeah, just like this example, like from fantasy to magic realism, right? Or from historical novel to like historical stylization of some, say, some epoch, some era. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I do that so, but probably maybe from, I don't know, crime detective to maybe murder fantasy to maybe like just the same kind of genre, maybe historical crime, murder, mystery novel, just the same genre, but probably a different writer in it. Okay, so that's it with the quick fixes. If these quick fixes don't work for you, we advise you to seek more permanent solutions, right? At least until the next book takes you back in there. Okay, so these deeper strategies are for if you feel like the book hangovers bothers you a lot and it affects your daily life. We are being serious now. If it affects your daily life and your relationship with people and your work, then we recommend these strategies. Um, First of all, I want you to unpack attachments. So you can just do some introspection, ask what it was. Was it the character? Was it the relationship? Was it the author style that hooked you? So when you try to think about these things, internalize and find out what exactly it is that made you feel so deep in the hangover. It could help you to pick your next book wisely. It could help you to choose wisely. So that's the first remedy we advise.
I have an example for this.
Okay.
If you feel like I have a friend, uh, she has kind of level of anxiety, and she's very careful of what to read. And what she does basically is just put the title of the book to ChatGPT and ask, I'm having this mental condition. Is there any scene that may bother me,
Increase the anxiety. Yeah.
increase this condition, right? And uh, so it's how you may cope with that. Like if you're don't not really sure if this book will
Yeah,
be extremely touching for you or extremely like makes you feel
emotional. Yeah,
too emotional, too anxious. So you can basically search, right? If there is something if there, or even put a particular type of thing you don't want to be reading, right? So just to avoid it.
yeah,
So
that
this
makes
the second remedy is basically similar to what I just said, right? Instead of picking the next read that would be too emotional, just read something else between that or skip it or find a book that will feel neutral, not that emotional. But to be honest, I doubt someone
it's
would do
going to
it
be very
because it's what
difficult.
we read for.
I think I do this when I read a book. Yeah, I do this, right? So most times, if I'm in the mood, I'm reading maybe three books together, and maybe one of it is a series, and I finish maybe the second book in the series, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a break here. I read the other books. When I finish them, I go back, and it really helps because um, when I'm reading other books, yes, my mind is still on the first one, but it is processing, it is, relaxing, and all the emotions are kind of ebbing away little by little. And before I'm ready to, yeah, dive back in. And I mean, from personal experience, I think it works. I really think it works, and I recommend it. So, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So the third one is mind body care. So it's basically get yourself hydrated, take walks, sleep well enough. Just go to the gym, go for a walk, do yoga. Just take care of your body, your soul, your mind. It helps. It helps. It keeps you relaxed. It helps you to release stress. Right. So can't emphasize that enough because research shows that binge consumption it impacts our moods more than we think. It's kind of happens subconsciously. You may not be aware, but yeah, binging, it affects our emotions. So take time to care for your mind and your body.
I'm totally agree. Definitely. So we're done with our remedies, but at the end of this part, we have like anti-advice,
Okay.
because sometimes it makes sense just to give yourself time to feel what you feel. For example, give yourself a day or two, maybe a night, to feel or do what you feel like, basically. Scroll fan arts, read your favorite chapters, or whatever you feel like doing. But give yourself a particular time frame. Like I
Mhm.
given myself this particular day or night, so I will do whatever I feel like doing about this book, rereading or watching the series if there is a movie adaptation. But once time's up.
Yeah,
I think it's reasonable advice.
I think it is. Okay, so we've come to the end of today's episode. I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope it was educative. It certainly has helped me as well to, to be more conscious of this book hangover, right? So, please just leave a comment. Let us know what books gave you, hangover, on what scale, and what has helped you personally, because probably there are some things we didn't mention. And yeah, that's it.
Just last thing I want to say, respect your emotions and give yourself a soft landing, right? And be careful, mm, have some empathy to yourself when you're picking your next read. Take
Okay,
care,
then.
basically.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you on our next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
That's a wrap for today on Shelf Indulgence. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. We'd love to hear from you. And hey, let's keep the conversation going. Follow us on Instagram and tell us what you're reading. Until next time, remember, shelf care is self-care.